What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So this tweet actually went live yesterday. This went up, or maybe even a day earlier than that. And I wanted to make a video about this one, completely forgot about it, but we're going to talk about this one. So remember, maybe it was about a month ago at this point, there was a campaign where players could go on the website and vote for characters to be selected for the upcoming Make It Your Sugo-Fest. Well, that voting period concluded and they have tallied up all of the votes, and these are all of the characters that are going to be boosted on this event. So this Make It Your Sugo-Fest, for those of you who don't really understand what it is, essentially it's just a regular old Sugo-Fest. We don't know if there's going to be increased rates for reds. The other weird thing about it is this is the official video in terms of the actual event during the anniversary when they announced all the new characters and stuff. They didn't really set like an actual schedule in regards to when the Sugo-Fest was going to be. They just briefly said mid-June. I don't know if this was 100% confirmed. For some reason, I feel like around the 16th of June. I feel like for some reason that's going to be important, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, the 11th anniversary Make It Your Sugo-Fest, it's going to be debuting sometime soon. We don't have the full information. Once we do, I'll probably make a separate video on it. Also, this time tomorrow, we should get the official in-game news in regards to the Roger Rayleigh Gaban Sugo-Fest and the Rocks Pirates. So again, once we get that information in-game and the data download to talk about the new rare recruits and all of that, we'll definitely talk about it once we get the data download, because that's kind of important information. But I just wanted to bring attention to this, to the actual characters that were selected. So these are all of the characters that are going to be available in this Sugo-Fest, the ones that are going to be boosted and stuff like that. Obviously, a lot of good characters here. Now, one thing I want to note as well is that in the official video, they mention, I'm trying to find the exact point here. So 20 characters are going to be boosted. Yeah, the characters in the top 20 of the voting in the poll will be rate boosted. And then it goes on to mention that a character from the top 10 is guaranteed to appear on the 11th poll. So this means here that these characters in this little bubble at the bottom, these were the characters considered to be the top 10 most voted characters. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a ranking of like 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, so we don't know exactly who the number 1 legend was that was picked. But in terms of the characters that were selected, you've got some pretty good ones here. Now, another thing to mention as well is that I feel like most people would have definitely selected anniversary exclusive characters, just due to the fact that anniversary exclusives are the legends that appear the least amount in the game. Again, they only appear during anniversary events, whereas Super Sugo-Fest, we do get a handful of them per year. So they do cycle more frequently compared to anniversary exclusives, which is why you'll see characters like Luffy and Lucci be featured, which is a very strong unit for sure, and a very good in Pirate Rumble as well. S-Snake, another anniversary exclusive legend right here. Now, to be honest, I do have S-Snake, and I haven't really used this character all that much since I have pulled this unit. I'm not going to say the unit is bad by any stretch, but I just think that this character is just an okay unit. I would really like to try her out more in Pirate Rumble, but I feel like I only really want to do that once I can eventually get my hands on Luffy and Lucci. Now, in terms of the other characters that are here, the rest of these units are all Super Sugo-Fest exclusives. Now, the fact that Whitebeard and Ace are boosted is kind of surprising to me. It is shocking that this character was voted so much, because this character came out during the most recent New Year's celebration. And since this character has come out, essentially has seen almost no use. The main problem with this unit is this unit was kind of stuck at a really weird release time frame where, you know, this character, the fact that doesn't have any of the whole tag mechanics makes this character just really funky. Also, the lack of support for the Whitebeard Pirate Commanders really hurts this character's usability. I guess we should probably pull it up just in case if you guys are wondering exactly how he works, because it is, I don't know why I typed in Marco, it's Whitebeard. The fact that this character works the way that he does is just extremely weird. So the reason why I said what I did is because of the captain effect, where depending on which Whitebeard Pirate Commander you use, you get a differing effect. The effects that you get are very strong. If you use a special of Marco, you get HP guard, you get timing bonus damage, which can synergize well with the New Year's Luffy or the New Year's Sabo. if you use Josen or an Odin special, you can get the removal or the percent damage reduction attack boost, which is really cool. And then you also get like ignoring debuff protection, inflicting increased damage taken from Thatch, Vista, or Izo. Like all of these abilities are really powerful. But the problem is we just don't have enough support for these units. And hypothetically, they release a random new unit of one of these that could potentially work. You got to remember, in their captain ability, they only boost powerhouse and fighter characters. So not only they have to release new versions of these units, but they have to be powerhouse or fighter for them to actually have decent synergy with this character as the captain. The special and the EX super and all that, honestly not a real problem, but it's just the fact that the captain ability is like so tied to those units makes utilizing some of the units on his list very, very annoying. And the fact that he came out right before character tags were a thing means that, you know, they could have done Whitebeard Pirates, and just any Whitebeard Pirate activating a special gets various different abilities and stuff, but of course he doesn't have that, so that really hurts. New Sabo, a bit of an interesting one as well, that he was selected so high, has seen a ton of use, honestly, since his release, and we'll see how things go moving forward. But essentially, if weakness class continues to be a thing, if enemies are weak to fighter, weak to cerebral class, Sabo is going to be pretty good against that kind of content. Now, Luffy and Kaido, I think, is legit top 5 best legend in the game. No qualms about that. Makes sense that he's boosted. I only have one dupe of him, so I wouldn't mind getting another dupe of this character. Oiran Yamato, very underrated unit, extremely powerful special ability. 10th Anniversary Luffy is interesting. Out of all of the 10th Anniversary Legends, I am shocked that Luffy is the number one, or is like the number one of the 10th Anniversary units that is actually boosted here. Mainly due to the fact that out of the 10th Anniversary units, and I guess I'm also counting the Dex Roger in that same argument, I do feel like Luffy is the one that sees the least amount of play, the least useful. Although you do have to look at it from the other perspective of Pirate Rumble. I do kind of forget that a lot of the times. But in Pirate Rumble, this Luffy is very good, so I suppose that could where people are kind of coming from. Strength Luffy, I always find it a really hard time, like, actually kind of gauging how good this character actually is. Because sometimes this character just feels phenomenal, but at other times, like, I just don't really want to use this guy. His captain ability is kind of whatever. In Pirate Rumble, like, yeah, he's pretty good in a mono free spirit focused team. But outside of that, I kind of find him difficult to put on teams because, like, he's a strength unit, right? Like, am I going to use this guy on a strength team when I have the 8.5 anniversary film red strength Luffy? No, that unit is way too broken not to be using, especially because that other Luffy is a much older character, so you have a higher chance of having dupes of that character. Whereas you have this guy who's come out recently. I don't know. In Grand Party, yeah, I guess you could use him as a leader and stuff, but this guy has been a little underwhelming for me personally. The final two units here, we've got the versus celebratory units versus Blackbeard versus Shanks. These units have seen some mediocre play since they've come out. Blackbeard has been a pretty phenomenal unit, and I guess lore with the context now of the Rocks Pirates saying to Jay Garcia Saturn potentially might see some more play moving forward. And then for Shanks and Kid, unfortunately Kid just hasn't seen a bunch of play. I really like his design. On paper, Kid is a phenomenal character, but they really ruined this unit with the requirements that are needed in order to achieve their versus ability. Like, if we pull up the versus effect real quick and just have a brief look at it, the gauge is the same between the two units, but you need to consume recovery, tandem bomb, or super bomb slots, and also you can pass turns, right? But the gauge being 18 is ridiculous, man. Like, what are we talking about here? The fact that they are, like, anytime you consume recovery or tandem, you get those, you get the gauge charged up. Bomb and super bomb, like, they don't naturally generate those slots, which is just really, really weird. So it's just, I don't really get why they did it the way they did. The only real reason it makes sense is if you opt to use them in Kizuna Clash. That's the only reason and the only way that they're actively usable. And then, you know, we kind of briefly talked about Blackbeard and lore. So the way this is going to work is that I believe from the wording that has been announced, again, we don't have the full information about how this Sugo-Fest is going to work in game. They mentioned something about a free multi, so my assumption is that we get a free multi-pull. From that free multi-pull, we basically get one of these 10 units guaranteed, which is phenomenal, right? Like, obviously, there's units you probably wouldn't want to pull, but, I mean, like, if you walk away with a Luffy Lucci, if you walk away with a Kaido Luffy, if you walk away with even a 10th anniversary Luffy, you'd kind of take that. If you take a, like, Shanks is still very good in Super Boss Kizuna. Yeah, there's still some very solid units here for sure, but I mean, if you end up getting Whitebeard Ace or S-Snake, I feel like that's kind of a feels bad, man. Unless, of course, you don't have the units, then that's always a W, right? Now, moving on, these characters are also going to be boosted. Now, it's very, very fascinating, because when you look at the characters at the top here, I would probably argue that the characters that are in the bottom half of this list, like, even though, like, geographically it's the top of the image, these are the characters that are considered the least voted for out of these. So it's weird, because I do feel like most people probably would have picked these units at the top more often, but it is what it is. I mean, S-Hawk being boosted is so good. Obviously, very good in Pirate Rumble. One of the best, if not the best, Pirate Rumble rare recruit in the game. Roger Rayleigh Gaban being boosted is kind of fascinating as well. I am not a fan of this unit. Very good in Pirate Rumble. If you have investments in Pirate Rumble, this guy is absolutely godly. But outside of Pirate Rumble, I just don't ever want to use this guy. Zoro and Kaku is a unit that I don't own, but on paper, they've got pretty good abilities, so I get why they're boosted. Of course, they were a relatively recently released anniversary exclusive character. We've got Kaido and Alba. I do think this character is a little overrated. I'm not really the biggest fan of this character either, but again, if you have investments and in Pirate Rumble, this character is honestly pretty strong. But then we get to the big boys. 10th Anniversary Ace, 10th Anniversary Shanks, Zoro and Sanji, Dex, Roger, Nami, Karina, and then Psy-Gear 5 Luffy being boosted is kind of interesting too. I mean, that's fine, honestly. This unit is still useful, so I don't mind that one being boosted. But I mean, like, when you have a look at this, all these characters are going to be... I don't know if this means these are the only pullable legends on the banner, or if it means that they're going to have a separate pool of legends, and then if you get a red, you just have a much higher chance to receive these types of units. But either way, this Sugo-Fest is lining up to be quite good. Again, we don't have the full information. We don't know the step-ups, whether it's going to be, like, after 5 multis, you get, like a crazy Sugo-Fest pull. Like, what if they have, like, a step where it's, like, literally a full multi of reds, and these are like the only reds you can pull? Like, it would legitimately be the best Sugo-Fest pull of all time. Again, we don't know. I don't want to put words in Bandai's mouth and then people are gonna, you know, have really weird expectations or anything like that. But kind of just want to make this video to discuss this one because, again, we don't have the full information. But in terms of the characters that are boosted, I wanted to give my 2 cents on this one. Personally, for me, I still don't have Luffy Lucci. I want to get him, and I want to get dupes of... Who I want dupes of? I mean, Luffy Kaido I want dupes of for sure. Now, one kind of weird omission, I thought a lot of people would have voted for this unit, is Khalifa. So Khalifa came out in the month prior to the voting period, so she was the most recent Kizuna legend at the time. And this character on paper is also very, very strong. Extremely cool abilities, honestly, and great synergy with Zoro, Kaku, and the Luffy Lucci dual unit. So the fact that this unit, honestly, wasn't voted as high is kind of interesting. I will say that I'm really happy for the player base that characters like S-Hawk were boosted, characters that Nami and Karina are boosted, Dex, Roger. Like, the fact that, like, key units like that were selected is a very good thing because, like, if you're a new player and you, like, hypothetically don't have anything on your account, picking up a character like S-Hawk is going to make your Rumble experience much, much better. He just helps you so much with that low cost, huge damage, like stuff like that is just like invaluable. Same as Dex Roger, like if you just get him, it makes the early life of your account so much easier. Same as like Psy Luffy, he does make things easier for you. And then you've got like the higher end of things, like getting duplicates, or even if you have all these units, but getting investments into characters like the 10th Anniversary Legends, getting more super tandem levels for characters like Zoro and Kaku, Zoro and Sanji, should I say. And then you've got the other ones here, which, I mean, to be honest, the characters in the upper half of the list are definitely more important, but still, this is going to be a crazy Sugo-Fest. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it's going to work. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, though, and if you did, let me know your thoughts and opinions about it all down below in the comment section, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.